ladies and gentlemen. Yes, my name is ESV Dozier Kennedy. I'm an estate surveyor and valuer. Yes, if you have been following up our program, the last time we talked about buying property of a deceased person. I hope and believe the lecture was impactful and you were able to learn a lot from it. So going forward, today is a very interesting topic. We'll be having a very interesting topic, which is the types and importance of title to land, the titling, land titling generally. So when we talk about land titling, we are talking about the rights that one has over a geographical space. It's not all about buying land. Land is geographical space when it's bought, but what gives you the right to that geographical space is the title that you have in that land. It's the bundle of right that you enjoy in the land. That is what we call title. So it's very important that we look at this topic because we've realized a lot of people buy land as long as they are not being disturbed, as far as they are not being harassed, they will relax at that point. And none of them try to have the necessary document to back up their ownership of that land. So it is very vital of land is very important when buying land because it gives you the right. It gives the government are aware of your ownership of that land. As much as we have different type of title, but first we're going to be discussing on two categories of title. Two categories. I mean, we made that is the legal title and the equitable title. Legal title are titles that are recognized by the government. These are titles that have gone through the statutory requirement, the registration process, that they've gotten the stamp duty and it is being approved by the government. It's a very strong title. That means the government are aware of your ownership of that land. That is the legal title. It has the backing. It has fulfilled all statutory requirements. Then when we talk about the equitable title, these are titles that have not fulfilled all statutory requirements. Yes, it has shown that there is a transfer between Mr. A and Mr. B. There's an existing transaction between both, but it has not fulfilled all necessary statutory requirements. It is not recognized by government. Government are not aware of the ownership of that land. So it is very important that we ensure that an investor, when you invest in, ensure that after buying a land, you get this necessary title and have those titles properly registered. So when we're talking about legal and equitable title. Legal title is the strongest title, while equitable title, it shows the transaction, but it has not fulfilled the necessary statutory requirement. Example of a legal title. When we talk about example of a legal title, we are talking about the certificate of occupancy, that's C of O. So many of us are aware of that. Then we're talking about registered deed of assignment, registered deed of conveyance, etc. So those are registered title. When we talk about equitable title, then we now talk about a deed of assignment that shows transfer between two parties but has not been registered. Is a document, is a valid document, but the fact is that it has not fulfilled the statutory requirement. Unregistered deed of assignment, if you have a deed of conveyance or that has not been properly registered, is an equitable title. So looking at this, we have to ensure when we are advising an investor or whoever is investing to be sure that you have your title properly registered. Now, as an investor, when you're buying a property, there's some land you're buying as a primary transaction. While there's some you are buying that is a secondary transaction. When we talk about primary transaction land, we are talking about a land that has no roots of title. There is no existing title in view of that particular land. That means there is no document to show that. So what you do is that when you buy such land, you have to process a legal title. You have to process a legal title. You have to get a deed of assignment from whoever you're buying it from. and make sure that it is registered, then you can proceed to process other legal titles. For instance, now some people buy land from Omonile. Like if you come to Lagos here, you see cases of people buying land from Omonile. This is an example of a primary transaction. Buying land from Omonile is a primary transaction. It has no root of title. So when you're getting that type of land, you have to go as more than just telling them giving you a receipt. You have to tell them to prepare a deed of assignment, because those are the documents that gives us detail, that shows history, that shows the present situation of the transfer, and these are the documents which you will use in processing your legal title. So it is very important. Why the secondary transaction? When we talk about secondary transaction, we're talking about transaction that already has a root of title. That means there's an existing title in that transaction. It could be a registered deed of assignment, it could be a certificate of occupancy, it could be a registered deed of conveyance. It already has a title. That means the previous owner has a title, has processed a title. So when you have such a property as an investor, you then proceed to get a governor's consent for you to carry out the statutory requirement for ownership, for transfer of ownership to yourself. You get a deed of assignment from the person you are buying from, then you proceed, pay the necessary duty, the statutory requirement to get a governor's consent. That consent by the governor is a prerequisite. It is what is required for you to proceed and get a legal for the property to be changed to your name. Then you can then enjoy the bundle of rights if the person that is selling to you has a certificate of occupancy. You need to have that certificate of the bundle of rights and that certificate transferred to your name. You have to get the governor's consent and fulfill all necessary requirements. Then that bundle of rights that person enjoys in that property will be transferred to you. Most times, I see most cases of when one is buying a land, they will tell you, no, this land has a receipt, this land has a survey. The truth be told, survey is an evidence that mapped out a particular area. It's a prerequisite, it's what is required to process a legal title. A survey is not a legal title. A receipt, on the other side, is an evidence of payment. It's an evidence of transaction. They are valid. I'm not saying they are not valid, but they are not to be replaced with a title. A survey is not a title to property. A receipt is not a title to property. So as an investor, when buying property and you are told it has a survey, it has a receipt, they are not titles, but they are needed. They are important in processing a title. So when as much as they can give you a survey and a receipt, then it is necessary that you request for a deed of assignment. Because deed of assignment is one of the most important things you need to have your property registered in your name. So that is all what we'll be discussing.